Shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Rabbadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, this is a Monday evening camp. Lord willing, be edifying, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. I'm going to start off with the book of James, chapter 5. This is going to be James chapter 5. Excuse me. If I can get it here. James 5 and 11, and it says, Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Okay? Talking about the patience of Job, okay? Who was an upright man, right? Who kept his integrity and faith even though he went through absolute hell. In fact, I'll go ahead and slot. Give me a second. This wind is blowing. Salakia. Get that real quick. Okay. So again, Job went through the hell, but he maintained his patience and integrity. So we're going to go ahead and go to the said book of Job here. And we count them happy which endure, because, you know, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. It's okay, so we got to go through, you know, Jacob's trouble in order to get to the kingdom. Lord willing that we're of the elect. Okay, this is Job chapter 1, verse 1, and it says, There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. Verse 2, and there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Verse 3, his substance was also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. Verse 4, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. Verse 5, and it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered a burnt offering according to the number of them all. For Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed the Most High in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. You know, and his sons, they celebrated and had a feast on their birthdays, and we know that birthdays are pagan. Okay, we don't glorify in ourselves. Okay, that's a sign of pride. Okay, you shouldn't be celebrating your birthday, period. Okay, that is a pagan custom. Verse 6, now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth? A perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High, and escheweth evil. Verse 9, then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doeth Job fear the Most High for naught? Verse 10, hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side, that thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land, but put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. Verse 12, and the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thine power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Okay, so the Lord was going to put Job to a test. Okay, he was gonna the spiritual demon Satan on the left hand side take everything from Job. Okay, and it says right here, verse 13, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. Verse 14, and there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Verse 16, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of the Most High is fallen from heaven, and hath burnt up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Verse 17, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. 18, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. 19, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then Job arose, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped. Verse 21, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Verse 22, in all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. He didn't blame the Most High for it. Okay, because he knew that, that there's a reason for why this is all happening. Okay, he didn't blame it. He didn't get mad at Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He made supplication and prayer. In the morning of having his children killed, destroyed, as well as having all his substance taken from him. Okay. Okay, that was this was all a big test. Verse 2. Salakia, this is going to be chapter 2 in the book of Job, starting from verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Verse 2, and the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth. From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High, and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him, to destroy him without cause. Verse 4, and Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. Verse 5, but put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. Verse 6, and the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai told Satan, basically, go ahead, make him suffer, but don't kill him. Okay, so that right there tells you that even Satan, the spiritual demon Satan on the left-hand side, follows the orders of the Father, of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Okay? So, and it says right here, verse 7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat among the ashes. Verse 9, then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die. So that right there tells you that even his wife was, even she turned against him in that moment, basically trying to ridicule him, saying, do you really still believe in the Lord after all that's happened? Curse him and die, right? Telling him to curse out the Most High and perish for it. It's like, as, being, that's the thing. She was just being a clamorous woman, as the book of Proverbs chapter 9 verse 13 says. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Okay, clamorous, which means she's a chatterbox, a loudmouth. Simple and knoweth nothing, just stupid and ignorant. Okay. Okay, in verse 10, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Okay? And when you go into the blue letter, when you look at that word evil, where it says, and shall we not receive evil, that's talking about adversity. Okay? That's talking about adversity. So, that's the trying of your faith, man. That's, you being tested. In fact, there's going to be a, let's see, 1 Peter. First Peter chapter 4 and verse 12. Slovakia, give me a second. There we go. So 1 Peter 4 and 12, and it says, behold, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So, if it feels as though that you're just having a really bad day, or, it just seems like you're just down bad or down and out, and just seems like the whole world's against you, don't think of it that way. Gotta have that spiritual mindset, knowing that the Lord is testing you. Okay? He's testing your integrity and your faith in Him. Okay? We're tested on a daily basis, so, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is putting you through a series of trials to see what manner of person ye ought to be, right? Okay? Verse 13, it says, but rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad with also with exceeding joy. Verse 14, if ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. Okay? So, being in this truth and speaking of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, he is glorified, but of those of the world he is evil spoken of. And so are his ways. People think that his ways are abominable and nonsense and just straight up evil. But, the ways of the Lord in this book will sound foolish to them, but to us it's, we understand that it's the Lord's way. Okay? They will never understand because it was never meant for them to in the first place. All right. Going to, still in the book of 1 Peter, we're going to go to chapter 1. chapter 1. Slovakia, this wind is really pushing. Slovakia, 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3, and it says, Blessed be Yahweh and Father of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach from the dead. Verse 4, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. Okay? And this is the last time. This is the last time right now. The last captivity. Okay? So, you know, give it all you got and make it count. Okay? Because, you know, like I said, Lord willing, that we are of the elect and that we are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, you know, maintaining our faith and integrity, that we hope that we are worthy of mercy and salvation, that we get out of here on the first go around and we don't die here, that we're not numbered amongst the 2/3. As the scriptures say, Zechariah chapter 13 verse 8, 2/3 shall be cut off and die, and only 1/3 shall be left therein to be tried. In fact, let me get that script. Zechariah 13 and 8, and it says, And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, The Lord is my power. Okay? So only the elect, the 1/3, the 144,000 elect men, 12,000 men, each from the 12 tribes of Israel, and the remaining, the 1/3, which is the men, women, and children, who are the families and friends of the prophets. Okay? Those are the ones who are going to make it out of here while this place goes up in flames and smoke. You know, Lord willing, that we're not numbered amongst the 2/3 that are going to be that are marked for death. Okay? This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 verse 1. Sirach 2 and 1. God. And it says, My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Okay? So coming into this, you know, prepare your soul, prepare your mind, that, you know, that the Lord's going to put you through a series of tests to see if you have any type of integrity, you know? Okay? That's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for honesty and integrity, to see if you have what it takes to do the right thing and resist those worldly desires that, you know, that you so badly want, you know. Verse 2, it says, Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in a time of trouble. So get your mind right. Okay, and the way to do that is by studying these scripts, fasting and praying. And make not haste in time of trouble, which means don't be impatient. You know, don't do anything stupid. Okay? Verse 3, Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Okay? Once again, another precept, Proverbs 3 and 5, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. In verse 4, Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. So whatever trial you're going through, take it cheerfully. Be patient, because the Lord is trying you. He's testing you to see if you can deal with this. To, discipline yourself and humble yourself, discipline yourself and build yourself up. Okay? To be what He's looking for, that man of integrity and honesty. Okay. And when thou art changed to a low estate. So when you're put in a position where, you're being afflicted or in dire straits, when you're in a position of trouble or just down bad, like I said earlier, when you're just going through a situation where it just seems like you're having a bad day or a bad week or whatnot, like I said, that's the Lord testing you. Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Men who can endure and keep their integrity and remain steadfast in the faith. Verse 6, believe in Him and He will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in Him. Okay? Believe and trust and have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai always. Verse 7, ye that fear the Lord, wait for His mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Verse 8, ye that fear the Lord, believe in Him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Verse 10, look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or ashamed? Or did any abide in His fear, and was forsaken? Or whom did He ever despise that called upon Him? Okay? So, as the scriptures say in roughly paraphrasing, Hebrews 11:6, without faith it is impossible to please Him. Without faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, it is impossible to please Him. You gotta have faith. Okay? You always call upon Him and lay your burdens upon Him and He'll take care of it, right? Verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, love and kindness, long suffering, which is patience, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. So pitiful, which means he feels sorry for you and He'll forgive you. He'll give you another chance. And saveth in time of affliction. So whatever it is that you're going through, the Lord is going to make a way for you to get out of that situation. Verse 12, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Okay, so those that are of a weak mindset or weak-minded in general, and if you lack faith, the Lord's He's not gonna have your back. He's not gonna stand up for you. He's not gonna help you. Okay. You gotta, if you want the Lord to stand up for you, you gotta stand up for Him, for His name's sake. Okay. That's why you have these men out here on the highways and byways, preaching and teaching His doctrine on a daily basis. Okay. This is what we do. This is what we live for. Okay? We pretty much put away our old selves and our old lives. Okay? This society is bullshit and it means nothing to us. Verse 14. And it says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? So the moment you lose your patience and you lose yourself, the moment you lose that discipline and self-control and you just bug out. So what do you think is going to happen when what are you going to do when the Lord pays you a visit? When it's your turn, to answer. What are you going to do when it's your turn to answer when you bug out? Okay, verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey His word, and they that love Him will keep His ways. Okay. Verse 16, they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well-pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. Okay, filled with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that's what we long for. We long for more of this. Okay? Verse 17, they that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of man. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. Okay? Trust in the Lord. In fact, let me get the book of Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah 17 and 5. And it says, Jeremiah 17 and 5, it says, thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departeth from the Lord. Okay? Never put your trust in man. Okay? And neither make not make flesh your arm, you know. Don't make the things of this world your might. Okay? Because the things of this world won't save you. Yahweh Shem Shai will save you, because he can destroy anything in this world or take it away from you, just like that. So, and by putting your trust in man and the flesh, you know, your heart departeth from the Lord, your mind, which means you forget all about Yahweh Shem Shai and you focus more on the world. Okay? And there's nothing to be gained here. And if you've been paying attention to what's been going on out in the world, you know, everything everywhere, you know, this society, the system, it's all falling apart. Everything's out of order. More and more people are dying. More and more people are stressed out. More and more people are starting to feel that tight squeeze, that things are getting harder, lack of resources, high prices, can't really afford much of anything anymore. People are being forced into a corner to where they're gonna have to start making sacrifices, start giving up worldly pleasures. And people are starting to feel very uncomfortable about that because they can't live as freely as they want to anymore. Okay, and let me go back to Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, and I was at, yeah, I already read that part, Slovakia. Okay, now we're going to go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. Second Corinthians chapter Lord, please stop the wind. Alright, 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It says, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. Okay, so examine yourselves. Okay? If you have to, every time you get up in the morning, don't just examine yourself physically, but ultimately mentally and spiritually, you know. See what needs to be worked on, what flaws you have, and work on those flaws. Okay? I mean, you know your strengths and weaknesses. Well, the Lord knows your strengths and weaknesses. So, and he shows them to you. So, you know, by him revealing them to you, that he's pretty much telling you what you need to work on. Okay? Whether it be discipline, whether it be your eating habits, whether it be, you know, you're giving too much time to this. You need to balance that out by doing multiple things to balance it, because an unjust balance is an abomination to the Lord. Okay, you can't, you know, you can't do too much of one thing or whatever it may be, and then, you know, disregard everything else. You got to find a balance that goes into managing your time doing things, your diet, health, your everyday life. Find that balance. Okay? I'm going to read that again. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Okay? So ultimately examine yourselves to see if this truth is for you. If this is really if this is something that's right for you. Okay? We have to examine ourselves in this faith every day to see if we are truly all about this and if we're sincere about it. Prove your own selves, okay? Prove yourself to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that just prove to him how much his word means to you. You have to show it, and you have to do it. You have to do it. You do it. Salakia, tongue twister. You show it by doing it. Okay? Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. Verse 6, but I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. Okay? A reprobate being a reject. Okay? Someone that is undesirable in the Lord's eyes. Someone who rejects the word. Excuse me. But yeah, we're not reprobates. Okay, we're not double-minded. We don't lean upon our own understanding. We don't follow the philosophies of the world. We only follow this. There's only one way, and that's Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's way. Verse 7. Now I pray to the Most High that ye do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. Okay? So in everything that you do, in everything, whether it be at home or at work or just in the world, you know, walk and move with honesty and integrity, even though you may be seen as a reprobate in the eyes of others. People may not like, people are not going to like the fact that you walk in the ways of the Lord. They're not going to like it. Because, as the scriptures say, woe unto them, not that one, that's not the scripture I'm looking for, but, you know, that is a script I'd like to pull out, roughly paraphrasing. It's, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Okay? In fact, let me get a precept here. Is Matthew's. This is Matthew's 5 and 11. And it says, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Okay? So blessed are you when people talk shit, say bad things about you, spread rumors just because of this truth. Okay? Let the haters keep hating. It's only gonna make you stronger. It's only gonna make you better. In the end, you're gonna be laughing at them. Okay. This is gonna be 2 Corinthians again. Corinthians chapter 8, starting at verse 1. It says, moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of the Most High bestowed on the churches of Macedonia. Verse 2. How that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy in their deep poverty abounded unto the riches of their liberality. Slovakia, the wind keeps blowing. Okay, and it says, verse 3, for to their power I bear record. Yeah, and beyond their power they were willing of themselves. Okay? So, in a trial of affliction, in the abundance of their joy, because remember, we are to count it all joy when we fall into temptation, right? Because that's us being tested. It lets us know that the Lord is dealing with us. And in their deep poverty, abounded unto the riches of their liberality. Okay? And those riches are those spiritual riches. Okay? The riches that are you know, the riches that are in heaven, you know, that are reserved for us, Lord willing. For to their power I bear record, and yet beyond their power, in their poverty, they were willing of themselves. They were willing to give all that they had, even though they were poor. Okay. So, you know, and you know that's part of being in the charity. You know, even though you're poor, but giving to others. You know, as the scriptures say, you know, giving alms, charity, covers a multitude of sins. Okay. And you know that's another test. You know, someone, you know that's another thing too, is that, you know, someone may be you may meet someone on the streets who's just homeless, and you know, as another precept says, roughly paraphrasing, for some have entertained angels unawares. Okay. That person could be an angel in disguise, and you will never know it. They could be asking for change or for some food. You just never know. You know, being merciful to those who, you know, can't provide for themselves, you know, that's a pleasing thing in the Lord, in the eyes of the Lord. Salakia. Now, Hebrews. Hebrews 11 and 36. In fact, I'm going to start at verse 32. Hebrews 11 and 32. And what shall I say? What shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, who was a judge in Israel, who delivered. He was a judge in Israel who delivered the Israelites from the captivity of the Midianites. And the Midianites they're originally Ishmaelites, which are the so-called Arabs, Arabians. Okay. Verse. And it said, and of Barak, who was a commander of Israel, who incited by a prophetess named Deborah, he delivered the Israelites from the yoke of Jabin, which is in Canaan, which are the South Africans, and led the Canaanites into the plain of Jezreel. Okay, he delivered them from Canaan, and then there was Samson, who was an Israelite and also a judge in Israel, who was renowned for his supernatural strength. And you know, Samson, he's the one where people get where the people of Israel get the idea Hercules from. Okay, that's where they get Hercules from, Samson. Okay, and Jephthah, who was also a judge in Israel, who was the son of Gilead, and of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets. Verse 33, who through faith subdued kingdoms, brought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, and those lions, which is talking about these other nations that, that bear their fangs at us, speak ill of us, that seek us to, destroy us, keep us under them. Okay. 34, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. And those aliens, once again, is talking about the strangers, which is these other heathens, these heathen nations. Verse 35, women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Not accepting deliverance, which means they denied the faith and they denied the Most High. So in return, verse 36, it says, and others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. Verse 37, they were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword, they wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, meaning that they had a lack of faith. They didn't want to be partakers in the affliction, by humbling themselves and accepting Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They didn't want to do right, and that's talking about you 2/3, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird, whose father's line goes back to the nation of Israel, and you happen to look like one of these other nations, but you're really an Israelite through bloodline and spirit. Okay? You refuse to accept correction. That's why you're going through what you're going through right now. And you're about to go through a hell of a lot worse. And it says, like I said, being destitute, afflicted, and tormented. Okay? So when Jacob's trouble hits full effect, you 2/3, the elect, the remnant, that's willing to keep the patience and the faith, and do what is right in the sight of the Lord. Yes, we're gonna go through hell too, but you 2/3 are gonna go through a hell of a lot worse. In fact, you're gonna die on this side because you refused to listen to the mouthpiece of the Most High, which is the prophets out here. Okay, those men that you see wearing these garments, that you say that they look like clowns, that they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, they're just trying to gain attention. Yeah, those men that you used to make fun of, that were trying to help you, yeah, in that day you're gonna be seeking those men. Excuse me. And even if you see one of them in the time of Jacob's trouble, don't go crying to them, because you had the time to listen, and that time is now. They're not going to tell you anything. They're just going to be like, why didn't you listen before? You had the opportunity. And you saw, and you're going to realize in that time that you have no one to blame but yourself, because you were being stupid and ignorant. Excuse me. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 15. For glorious is the fruit of good labors, and the root of wisdom shall never fall away. Okay? So glorious is the fruit of honest work. And And the root of wisdom shall never fall away. So, doing honest work and using wisdom, being smart about things and doing honest work, doing what's right in the sight of men, that's the root of wisdom, and it shall never fall away. Verse 16. As for the children of adulterers, they shall not come to their perfection, and the seed of an unrighteous bed shall be rooted out. Okay, so adulterers, talking about those who, not just in a physical sense, but in a spiritual sense, turn to other philosophies, false idols. Their seed, their children, they shall not come to their perfection, and the seed of the unrighteous bed shall be rooted out. So once again, the 2/3, okay, they're not gonna their unrighteous roots they'll be rooted out, taken out of the way, plucked from the ground, destroyed, trashed. Okay, thinking that they're gonna get somewhere, saying that they're self-made, or they got this, they got that. The Lord's gonna take all that away from them, and then what? They're gonna bitch and complain, and wonder why is this all happening. Verse 17. For though they live long, yet shall they be nothing regarded, and their last age shall be without honor. Or if they die quickly, they have no hope, neither comfort in the day of trial. Verse 19, for horrible is the end of an unrighteous generation. Yes, you're going to have a horrible end. 2/3 of you Israelites are going to die a horrible death, whether it be by the sword, famine, pestilence, a wild beast, however. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has an endless amount of ways to get rid of you. Okay? Or he could be saving the majority of you for that ultimate judgment, which is those ICBMs, those intercontinental ballistic missiles that are going to come from every direction of the earth, and they're going to hit their target, which is right here in America, aka Babylon, the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay? So sure, you may be in abundance right now, but you may be living the life right now, partying and going on, having a good time, but just know that that's all going to be taken away. And this is going to be Wisdom of Solomon again, chapter 4 and verse 6. In fact, I'm going to start at verse 4. And it says, for though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standing not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind. And though the force and through the force of the winds they shall be rooted out. The imperfect branches shall be broken off, their fruit unprofitable, not ripe to eat, yeah, meat for nothing. So, all your deeds, everything that you've done in your life, it's going to come to naught. It's, when the time comes for you to face judgment, when you have to answer all that you've done in your life, you really have nothing to show for it. Nothing good in the Lord's eyes. You're just vain. Okay? So in other words, the Lord is going to count you as an undesirable. Verse 6. For children begotten of unlawful beds are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial. So witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial. So these wicked children, they are an example of their own parents. Okay? They are an example of their own parents' conduct. Okay? However you raise your kids, is going to show what kind of is going to reflect on what kind of person you are. You raise them right, they'll do right. If you raise them horribly, they're going to be horrible. Okay? Your children take after you. Okay? Your children, your children represent you. Okay? When people see your children's conduct, that makes them wonder, who raised this kid? Or who raised them? How do they, or, depending on how, people perceive your kids, man. That's why you got to teach your kids how to be humble and to be circumspect. Okay? To be humble, good-mannered, meek, and to be mindful of their actions, man. Okay, going back to Sirach. Sirach 27 and 5. Sirach 27 and 5. It says I'll start at verse 4, and it says, "As when one sifteth with a sieve, the refuse remaineth, so the filth of man in his talk." Okay? And that's what the Lord has been doing, ever since he woke up his men, starting with Abba Bivens back in 1969. Okay? All the way up till now, the Lord has been sifting his people, Israel, sifting the desirables from the undesirables. Okay? He's been sifting out those who are sincere again versus those who are insincere. Okay? So, if you're like the proverb of the wheats and the tares. Okay? The wheat is the desirables and the tares are the undesirables. Okay? The wheat, the elect, the tares are the refuse, the trash that's going to be burnt away. Okay, and also, yes, the 2/3 are the tares, but also the tares also goes into, if you want to go deeper into it, the tares are also the other nations that planted their seed in Israelite women, and their children look like us. Okay? That's another thing you have to remember. It's by the seed of your father. Okay? You are what your father is. And so on and so forth, backing up the line. Your father is what his father is. So that means that you are what your father is. So therefore, you have to remember Numbers 1 and 18. In fact, let me get that real quick. Numbers 1 and 18, and it says, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees." And if you look up the etymology of the word pedigree, it goes back to the word lineage or bloodline. So their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. The father, not the mother, the father. According to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their poll. So your bloodline, nationality, and heritage is determined by the seed of your father. Okay? Once again, like a broken record, I'm gonna keep saying it, because we live in a society, America is all about that woman worship. That they believe that women came first. Or they say that ridiculous ass thing with their pseudoscience saying that we are born female inside the womb. And then X and Y chromosomes, this and that. It's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? It's a bunch of bullshit. Saying that women come first, that we're born female inside the womb, and all that other shit and all that other stuff. And you know, that this, you know, and that Queen of Heaven worship. No. Okay? This place is completely contrary to what the Bible speaks. And as vulgar as it sounds, we all come from our father's nutsacks, okay? You start off as that itty-bitty sperm cell that swims its way up into your mother's womb and fertilizes one of her eggs in her ovaries. That's it. She carries you for 9 to 10 months, and then she's ready to push you out. All right, getting back on topic here. Yeah, Sirach 27:5, I'll read again. (27:5), and it says, "The furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning." So the furnace proveth the potter's vessel. And who's the potter? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And the vessel, us. So the furnace proveth the potter's vessel to see if we're made of the, if we're made of the, you know, if we're the real deal, or we're just, or we're just, you know, trash, garbage. Okay. So the furnace, so that furnace is talking about adversity, trial and tribulation. Okay. Now I'm gonna get the book of Mark, chapter 16. Mark chapter 16, verse 16. Mark 16:16, and it says, "He that believeth and is baptized, he shall be saved. But he that believeth not shall be damned." Okay? So he that believeth and is baptized, and baptism, and how you be baptized? By the washing of this word. Okay? This not being, as the churches, you know, dip you in water. No. True baptism is by hearing this word and repenting and putting off that old man and becoming a new man. You know, changing your ways. Letting that shit go. You know, whatever the old you was, that person is gone. Now this is the new you. The new and improved. Okay? And this, and again, but he that believeth not shall be damned. Okay? Shall be damned. You know, condemned, judged. Okay? So this is all about faith. You know, and Job was a perfect example of faith, and you know, example of faith and integrity during his time of affliction. Okay? When Jacob trouble hit, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what kind of hell we're going to go through in our own individual lot. But if we maintain our faith and integrity and patience, you know, and, you know, just hope that the Lord is with us and that he's dealing with us, you know, that we may be, you know, accounted worthy. Right, going back to Job. Let's see. Here. So I could give me a moment. see. It's, but speaking on the such that since Job maintained his faith and kept himself, he was rewarded, and he got more than what he had from the start. In fact, let me see something. Salakia, if I can find that script. Okay, let me get this is Job's repentance in Job 42. I'm gonna start from the top. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Verse 3, who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not the things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Verse 4, hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself, and repent in dust and ashes. So, you can go into the 3rd chapter of Job. He despises his life, and he cursed the day that he was born, meaning his birthday. And like I said, once again, birthdays are a pagan custom. We are not to celebrate them or glorify ourselves in any way, shape, or form. Verse 7, and it was so that after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against thee, and against thy 2 friends, for ye have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as for my servant Job hath. Verse 8, therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks, 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, and that ye have not spoken of me the thing which is right, like my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did according as the Lord commanded them. The Lord accepted Job, and the Lord turned the captivity of Job. When he prayed for his friends, also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. In verse 11, then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him and comforted him all over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. So he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Jemimah, and the name of the second Keziah, and the third Karen Hapuk. 15. And in all the land were no men found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. 16. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died being old and full of days. So he got double when he had it first. In fact, here's another script that comes to mind. Oh gosh. This is Mark chapter 10, verse 30. I'm going to start at verse 29, and it says, And Yahushua answered and said, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that hath left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my sake and the gospel's. Verse 30, But he shall receive 100-fold now in this time houses, and brethren, and sisters, and mothers, and children, and lands with persecutions, and in the world to come eternal life. So, again, you have to ask yourself, when the Lord wakes you up to this truth, you have to ask yourself, is giving up everything of this world worth receiving that what's to come? In fact, another script that just came to mind. Romans 8 and 18. And it says, For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Okay? So what we're going through now is nothing compared to what awaits us in the kingdom. Lord willing that we be of the first fruit, the elect. We just have to endure it to the very end. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how scary it gets, no matter how much of a mind fuck it could be, no matter what the case, endure, maintain your honor, and maintain your integrity until the very end, because giving up this world is worth receiving the promises that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has for us. It's worth it. Giving up this world, yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow, because we've been in this place for so long that I'm not going to say that we have some attachment to it, but our families, our friends, our loved ones, it's going to be bitter to see them go. All we can do is hope and pray that their judgment won't be as grievous as some others. And if the Lord has mercy on them and they make it with you, hey, great. But if not, you got to carry on. But expect, if they're not with it like you are, expect them to receive judgment. Okay? So, again, Job is a perfect example of faith and integrity in the time of affliction. Okay? So, think about what Job went through. Just imagine the discipline, just imagine the level of integrity and faith that he had. That's incredible. All right? So I hope that this was edifying camp. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Adabada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, see you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abavabal, Shalom, Barakatham.